opinion type beat.
All
So
right. So
I need
I should be live now.
Let me see.
Go back to my
Okay,
Safari.
I definitely see it.
Listen, all I know is that Jujutsu Kaisen won 9 fucking categories.
That's crazy.
That it is insane.
It's probably fitting, but it's crazy.
I mean, I do think that it's well deserved because the second season, like by a large margin, destroys the first season.
We might be live, by the way, just so you guys know.
I'm
Are we?
like
Okay.
Live?
Yeah, it
Might
says you're
be.
live. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Nice.
good, bro.
Nice.
All right.
I'm-
Yeah, that
I'm
was
going to
good 'cause
Crunchyroll
it's
right now.
Super late.
Jesus Christ, man.
All right,
So JJK won how many?
all right, let me see. Oh, finally, Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's live.
Take it.
All right,
You're good.
we're finally
Hey,
live. Hey,
intro.
listen, guys. Okay. All right, listen. All right, let me put the chat. All right. We are finally live with the first episode of Anime X Debates, and just like a black person, I got so many difficulties, man. So many difficulties. I'm trying to set this damn stream up, and I'm struggling. I got so much shit that I've been
Here, though.
working on and putting together, and it was almost done. I almost had it. I was gonna have a whole bunch of animated intros and things like that. But this is the best I can do. All right, the next one they're gonna get better and better. I'm so sorry, guys, but we are starting the first episode of Anime X Debates. I had to pick the Elden Ring music. I can't get my camera to work, but look, you can see these beautiful, sexy people above me. No homo. All right,
yo.
so look at them. You don't gotta look at me. Y'all look at me all the time. All right, so look. So, you guys, we need somebody. I need somebody to send me. Oh, actually, I'm gonna put the topics in the description so you guys see the itinerary of everything that we're gonna talk about. But without further ado, we're gonna get right into the first topic because we already on Black people time. So, hey, it is what it is. So, let's see. So first thing to do is introduce the people. Now, this is my new debate show. I'm gonna be talking everything anime because we already do that. Every day we talk about anime, we dissect it, we say our different philosophies and things of that nature. And we're just like, yo, while we're sitting here blabbing away, we might as well go live and do this. Okay? So, now the people that's gonna be in this cast, it's gonna vary. It's gonna vary based upon who's down to be in it and who's willing, because I hate waiting. I hate talking about stuff constantly. Like, we should do this. We should do a podcast. So this right here is me just doing it. I'm just doing it. All right. So let's do it with the people we have right now. So introducing the man at the top left. His name is AC Lee Arthur. He's been my best friend since middle school.
Day one, boy.
Yeah, our origin story is kind of funny because people say we look alike, and that's how we became friends. Because I hated when people said, "I don't look like him." So yeah, we have a weird origin, but he's been my friend for a very long time. Top right or the middle, my boy Nakat. A lot of you guys might know Nakat. He's working very hard on multiverses. There's it's relaunching soon. Monday is gonna be an announcement for it. He's a professional Smash player. He's been playing since Brawl. He's incredibly talented and he streams all the time, so you guys should check him out as well. But he's lacking in his anime knowledge, I'm not gonna lie.
Let me defend myself real quick. Let me
Okay,
defend
go.
myself.
Go.
I've been pretty busy. I've been pretty busy streaming, playing games and shit. I straight up admitted, I'm like, you know what? I'm like behind on JJK. I haven't even seen season 2 yet. I saw the
Damn.
movie, though. That shit was beautiful.
Damn.
I know what you're thinking, but I made sure I finished that Attack on Titan though. But I got a lot of stuff I need to catch up on. So next time I'm up here, I'm gonna be very well prepared. Just know that. I just wanted to say hi to everybody. See my face, and then I'm gonna dip out and come back on the next one.
Yeah, like he's just here to basically introduce himself. I'm actually gonna update the description with the itinerary as we going. So, DeGraff, why don't you introduce yourself while I'm putting the description of the itinerary?
Got you. I'm the Graph. I go by Zay on the interwebs.
And say your relation to me because they don't actually care about you. They care about me.
Right.
So say how you're relevant to my story. Okay, go ahead.
I forgot. I'm a nobody. My bad. I'm sorry. No, I'm a college roommate of Sylvanas. We was niggas from back in the day. Yeah, and that's really all I had. That's really all I had for real. No. But no, I'm Zay. I go by Zay, especially on the internet. I got YouTube, got Instagram. YouTube is Here Zay Rant, ZE. And it's underscores in there. Here underscore Zay underscores Rant. I was in some of Calvin's early videos way back in the day, back when we was trying to go viral, and then came back in some of his videos probably a couple years ago at this point. But yeah, hoping y'all can see me more. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun time.
Nice. And then my boy to the right of me, the right image of the other person who also does not have a camera. We have my boy Elijah. Elijah is
you a camera dog.
He's another one of my best friends that I met freshman year of college, and we have been basically friends ever since. That's
but a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing, man. Listen, this nigga. Oh wait!
No
in
words. No, we're gonna try to keep it no in words. All
right. My bad, chat. This brother, you know, a little bit of lore for Sylvanas. You know, he used to stay with me, staying on my couch.
Hey, don't get too personal.
But this brother has risen.
Sound is on the low side. I can turn that up.
Yeah, go ahead and turn me up. But he's arisen. I got to perform with some of his early videos, back on the Instagram days. I think all those videos have been archived. They're no longer viewable. But I got to be in his early performances. So glad to be here and be a part of the new project, new debate.
Awesome.
Glad to be here, y'all.
All right, so sorry guys, we're gonna have this updated. Like obviously, I was doing so much work to get started, so we're just gonna go into the topics.
Nice.
Yeah. So the first thing we want to do is do a tribute to Akira Toriyama.
Rest in paradise, my boy.
Moment of silence.
I mean,
no, we should power up.
That's what I was gonna say. I was actually gonna play a certain song.
So I don't know if you guys know. So there's it's an article that surfaces around the internet. It's like there's a national, like there's a day that everybody's planning to like power up or like do the spirit bomb, raise the hands thing. I believe it's like April 1st or something like that. Or no, actually it's April, whatever Akira Toriyama's birthday is. That's when everyone was going to like synergetically like power up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One last hurrah. I think that would be amazing.
I think there's a National Goku Day as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's like officially recognized as Goku Day.
That's been around for a little while now too. Yeah, it's true.
But I just want to say real quick, I just want everybody to say what your favorite scene from any of Akira Toriyama's work is, because we already know he has meant so much to all of us, and I want you guys just to give me a short summary of your favorite Dragon Ball moment or whatever, and what it's meant to you, like what the work has meant to you, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Can I tell you mine real quick?
Go ahead.
Don't shoot. He's not black.
Oh my god, bro.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was intentional.
Bro, that shit, like back then, you think nothing of it, but then you look at it now, everybody I know fucking posts that shit and just starts crying, like laughing now. It's not funny, but it's funny. But yeah,
sounds belligerent.
That shit. But no, on some real shit though, I think when it comes down to it, I'll kind of be a bit cliche and just say just like Goku's initial fight with Frieza, and then in Super when they actually teamed up. So probably my top two moments.
And
I
what
fucking
is
love
and
Freezer.
what
I
is
don't know
Dragon
why.
Ball and what is Dragon Ball meant for you? What has it done for you?
Dude, Dragon Ball Z is essentially I feel like all these other anime and manga, they don't exist as they are without DBZ. To have something that influential and that crazy come out and just influence everything that comes after it, you know you got magic on your hands. And so because of that, not only was it inspirational for me just as a creator, but also it was just lovely to grow up with that anime side by side and kind of see where it came from to now. I feel like people our age, guys, I feel like we were born at the right time, man. In terms of just games and anime, I feel like we got to see shit from the inception all the way to now. We not even done yet. So, rest in
Facts.
peace, brother.
Awesome,
Facts.
awesome. What
True.
about for you, Arthur?
For me, man, personally, I have several moments that like I can always go back to and like watch and like still get the same sort of invigoration. One of those moments for sure is when Gohan ascended to Super Saiyan 2 versus Cell.
Guy,
That for me
you
will
stole
always
mine.
be. Was that
You stole mine. Go ahead though.
okay? Um, that for me will always be a peak moment. Because for me, I was around the same age as Gohan when that aired. He was 11 years old, and what the ideal of someone that age being able to overcome a great evil such as Cell, and just the choreography of the whole moment was like, I can still go back to that and still try to power up with Gohan to this day. Um, and my another moment is it's not canon, but I love when the original Broly, his first crash out moment, him powering up, bro, with
Heck
the
yeah.
with Tens Pantera by Pantera playing in the background, bro. Oh my
Yes.
fucking, I'm sorry, I'm not
Yeah.
allowed to curse, but like, bro, that shit right there, bro,
Yes.
like
Now,
was
all
earth
right.
shattering.
Now let me
So
say mine since you already brought up Super Saiyan 2. I don't know why I tried to claim it for myself, but I do. But
this dude,
Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, that whole entire fight, that is my favorite anime. I think nothing has ever compared to Super Saiyan 2 Gohan to me.
I
And
agree.
his beam struggle with
Yeah.
Cell, just because that beam struggle he had with Cell, it pretty much for me encapsulated the force of will, and the force of will sometimes that you have to do to overcome all the problems in your life. And seeing him summon that through all the help of his father, his father encouraging him, and the support of his friends around him, like that's exactly the way I think life is. We need
Yeah,
the support of our friends, and we need good guidance in order to defeat the strongest monsters in life. Is my mic volume low? I can
You're
turn it
good.
up.
good.
You good?
Somebody said the mic. Why is the mic volume so low? But
Yeah, you're good.
just in
Oh,
you guys might be able to hear me, but they might.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know about streaming, but
Yeah, I can turn that up. But
Um,
you guys might be able to hear me better now.
Mm.
But yeah, so in general, Dragon Ball Z is everything to me. It is my religion. Anime is my religion. Like Dragon Ball Z, and it's spawned so many apostles of, you know, what that the message of Dragon Ball Z is supposed to be, that it's allowed me throughout my life to, piece together a good guidance for my life to get to where I want to be. And I have to thank Akira Toriyama for that.
Mm.
of course, I grew up drawing this man's characters like religiously. Like his artwork gave me inspiration to become the individual that I am today. So like you said, it's a beautiful illustration of sheer willpower to overcome obstacles. And there are a lot of archetypes in this world today that are inspired by just Goku as a character, from martial artists to weightlifters and people who just appreciate the overall aesthetic and the science behind becoming Super Saiyan. Like there's a whole, the influence has touched. I don't think there's anything the influence of Akira hasn't touched in that regard.
Yo,
Um,
no, yeah. So I agree. And Elijah, you didn't get a turn to say what you were gonna say. What
Oh
is
yeah.
Me
your favorite?
neither.
You already.
Yeah.
I thought you already said yours.
No.
You're just like
No?
you just blend in with other people. You're just so. I don't even recognize. Are you even there? Are you even there? No,
No,
go ahead,
bro.
Elijah. I'm playing.
Nah, I was gonna say, you know, even before that, like, I also want to just take a moment to like recognize, like, you know, Dragon Ball is Dragon. There's Dragon Ball, there's Dragon Ball Z, and there's Dragon Ball Super. I feel like Dragon Ball is also like not as acknowledged. I mean, there might not be as many moments that are like obviously like man, that was like awesome, like that was sweet, but I feel like that is also like kind of what set the stage for what Dragon Ball Z is, like what we all know and love. So I just want to take a moment to like to also like, you know, show some respect for the OG Dragon Ball. When he
Fair
was
enough.
still
Yeah.
just a kid.
Fair
Um,
enough.
but my favorite moment, like I said, everybody kind of has the same moment. I mean, like I said, Teen Gohan, we were kids, but I'll switch it up just for the sake of some variety. I'm still gonna choose Gohan, but I'm gonna pick the scene where he was training in the hyperbolic time chamber with his dad. And he forced Goku, he forced his dad to come at him with the intent to basically kill,
Mhm.
to push him to break through his limit. And it was I think that was a huge moment for Gohan, because it was like a boy becoming a man, where it's like, I can't continue to be the person I am. I can't continue to have people try to save me only to die. You know, I have to be better for myself and for the ones that I want to protect.
Uh,
You know, and in that moment, you know, he broke through, and he became a Super Saiyan. And I like the interaction between Goku as well, because it was like Goku was like, wow, like my son is a Super Saiyan. Like, it was like a really nice, just like moment, you know, to happen. So I really appreciate that sequence of events and that moment in Dragon Ball Z.
that's
Okay.
awesome. Actually, Arthur, can you do me a favor? Can you put the Discord a Discord invite in the live chat so people can join the Discord? We need you guys to join the Discord because the debate itinerary is actually in there. So if you want to know what we're going to be talking about during this, you know, that's in there. You guys have to join the Discord. And being in Discord will be your chance to join in on these calls as well, because that's why I'm using Discord, because I want to hear from you guys as well. This is a platform for you guys to talk and have your voice be heard as well. Because that's what I want. I want to hear from you guys. You guys are my viewers and people that support me, and I want to support your voice as well with this platform. But yeah, continuing on with the Dragon Ball, and I mean, we let's just point it out there. Let's say it. You know, it we all know it has inspired a lot of the anime, like to an insane degree, and they're showing inspirations in even other forms of media, like, you know, Kazuya is based off of Vegeta and things like that. I mean, this guy is Akira Toriyama might be the Michael Jackson of anime. I mean, that he's the Michael Jackson of anime. So.
All right, Calvin, can I say my piece?
Oh yeah, I forgot you didn't. Dude, whoa, you're a
You
blind
good? You
spot.
good?
Go ahead.
No, so to piggyback what you were saying, in general, I do think Akira Toriyama is just a genius because, like I said in the video, I'll make this real short. You can watch Dragon Ball Z without ever watching Dragon Ball, and it has constant callbacks, which is genius. That is really hard to do, to make a series that connect but stand alone at the same time. That's genius, borderline genius. And my favorite scene from Dragon Ball, like, don't get me wrong, pinnacle scene was Gohan going Super Saiyan 2. But my favorite scene was Vegeta sacrificing himself, because that was such a big that was such a big transformation for him, because he started Dragon Ball Z not caring about anybody else but himself. Super selfish. Then he started softening up and realized that, hey, I'm being soft. I'm letting Goku pass me. I can't let that happen. And he did whatever he could to get that power. And then he realized that that's not what this is about. He loves his son, and he loves his wife way more than he loves power in general. And so he sacrificed himself just to keep them safe. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep them safe.
He's like,
so that to me, boom.
You know, the love of
Number one thing.
The love of his wife. It's like Will Smith. You know,
Mike
don't
Tyson's crazy.
don't disrespect his wife. And I like that. I like that you brought that up because that is a common thing that is talked about in a lot of anime is darkness. And
That's
going
true.
into that darkness and tapping into that to find strength, and that's what Majin Vegeta personified. And even going into that and tapping in that, he could never match Goku's light.
You want to know?
I think it's
Oh,
beautiful.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
But we're hitting the timer on this topic. But go ahead.
Oh, we are. I was just gonna say one last, because we're talking about Majin Vegeta. One of his most epic moments as well is when he first became Majin Vegeta at the tournament, and he like palm blasted like half of the crowd into oblivion, and he told Goku like, "Nigga, I'm sorry, no N words." He told me like, "Hey, you saved my life and humiliated me one too many times. So whether you want to or not, you finna catch these hands." Like Goku was not trying to fight, but he was like, "You know what? Okay, I see that you're serious. You got this strong just so you can challenge me." Like that right there was a moment for Vegeta where I feel like he took off all qualms and he was like, "Yo, I'm not about to be your second anymore, bro. We about to really see what's up." Like I was a pivotal respect moment for Vegeta for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that was amazing. Once again, and I'm not done because I love Dragon Ball Z too much. So
we all do.
Sorry, that's my timer. I'm gonna never do that again. So the next episode is gonna be dedicated to Akira Toriyama and his work. So Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Super, all of that. The new one that's coming out, the next episode has to be dedicated to Dragon Ball Z, and my setup is gonna be better for it. And it has to be about Dragon Ball Z because we need to talk about this even more because it deserves that. Moving on, though, for now to the next topic, we are going to talk about the Crunchyroll Awards.
Oh no! Go ahead and pull these up. Real quick.
we're going to talk about the Crunchyroll Awards because there's a lot of controversy surrounding the Crunchyroll Awards because Sorcery Fight swept. Sorcery Fight. That's the name. That's what Jujutsu
it was
Kaisen
unanimous.
translates to. It swept unanimous. Everything. It swept almost everything, and it won Anime of the Year. And the biggest community that contends with that is the Vinland Saga community. Now, I have danced with the subject of Vinland Saga to an extreme degree, probably too extreme. But now I finally know why. And I can tell you guys exactly why it didn't deserve to win, but I think you're going to be satisfied with the reason. So, the reason Vinland Saga did not win the Crunchyroll Awards is because
Farmland Saga.
Our society, our society, we love violence. And majority of people disagree with Vinland Saga's opinion. So when you watch Vinland Saga season 2, there is some type of ambiguity as to what Vinland Saga's opinion is, but in season 2, Vinland Saga's opinion is apparent. It sticks its feet. It stands its ground in its opinion that violence is wrong. And so the people that disagree with it, it's like listening to if you disagree with somebody like Fresh and Fit, like a podcast, right? And you listen to it and they're saying things that are inflammatory and no one's fighting it. It's just an echo chamber of things that you disagree with. You're going to hate it. And that's what Vinland Saga season 2 feels like to people that disagree with the opinion that it sticks, basically has. And so let me explain Vinland Saga. Let me analyze it for people that don't understand it. So Vinland Saga, the reason some people think it doesn't make sense or they don't like it is because the show is about emotions versus logic. It's about it's taking a hard stance at what is right and what is wrong. There was a conversation in it that I initially thought was silly. They were Thorfinn and Einar were talking to each other, and they were just like, Einar said, "Violence has robbed us of our freedom, and it's just wrong. It has to be." And then Thorfinn said, well, as somebody who lived a life of violence, I don't know if I have any room to speak, but it is wrong. It is wrong." And initially, when I heard this conversation, I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This is such a simple, trivial conversation. But when I thought about it more, what he was doing, it was a trivial statement, but it needs to be said because we've overcomplicated morality as a human race. And that's what the show is about. It's about not overcomplicating morality. It's about not justifying morality. Morality just is the intuitive and emotional. It's about the intuitive morality that you have inside that you were created with, that you choose to find ways to disobey. And that's why Thorfinn's journey is an otherworldly, godly journey, because he isn't adhering to human logic. He isn't adhering to human morality. He's adhering to an otherworldly morality. He has the dead that he killed that he's carrying with him. He has things in the afterlife. He's fighting for something in the afterlife. Now, Canute. The reason I dislike the show is because I embody Canute. Canute is the antagonist of the show. Every time you see his mental landscape, it's villainous, it's red. He has his father, the king, talking to him, and it's clearly portrayed as evil, but he's speaking to him with pure logic. And the folly in Canute's path is that neither one of these characters are going to find the heaven that they seek. That is the reality of being a human, is that you are not going to find paradise. But the difference between Canute and Thorfinn is that Canute's bridge to nowhere will be created with bodies. Meanwhile, Thorfinn's path will be created through life and peace and not killing. And I'll say one more thing, just so people that don't understand Vinland Saga, think of it like the trolley problem. If you know the trolley example, it says, hey, this trolley, it's going to hit this many people. And if you flip the switch, it'll hit one person. So how do you morally justify what is the right thing in this scenario? Well, Vinland Saga is saying, who the hell tied people to tracks? Who the hell did that? Let's talk about that part. Who tied people to the tracks and made us choose? Who trapped us in this ideology? And so he's trying to find a place where people aren't tying people up to damn trolleys and trapping them in human logic. That's what Vinland Saga is about. So the reason I will say now why I'm going to say two things and I'm going to end because I know I'm long-winded, but I've thought about this topic so much. I feel like I got a lot to say. So the reason I didn't like it personally is because the character that I agree with and I feel like their ideology is sound, they were the villain. And so I took offense. I was offended by Vinland Saga's ideology. And if you don't agree with it, the lack of action can make it not that engaging. The conversations aren't that engaging because they're straightforward. They're not puzzles. And I watch conversations to puzzle solve. But Vinland Saga isn't about solving a puzzle through the conversation. It's about listening. And that's not why I watch shows. And that doesn't mean that the show is bad, though. It just means that a lot of people don't watch things to listen. They watch things to internally react in their own way. And the reason I will say that it didn't deserve to win the Crunchyroll Awards, I'm going to give you guys the perfect analogy, and I'm done, I promise. Now, let's say you got two different products, right? You have two different products on Amazon. They have the same rating. They're both rated 4.8 out of 5. And you're like, wow, these are both two great products. Now, this is not to say that one couldn't be more specific to you, but you don't know. This is Sylvana speaking. So when you're looking at these two products and determining which one is better, let's say one that has 4.8 stars. I know this is a stretch of analogy. I know. I'm just trying to give you guys the perspective. There is no objectivity to this. So I'm trying to give some form of objectivity to it. So if you look at two products and one has a 4.8 and 100 people rated it, you're going to say, seems like a good product. But if the other product also has a 4.8 and it has 1,000 ratings, you're going to say, I mean, they both might be of the same quality, but if I have some form of objectivity to point to, it's the fact that more people rated this 4.8. When the more people that look at something, there's more people to critique it and tear it apart. And that's the only form of objectivity we have to go on when looking at Jujutsu Kaisen versus Vinland Saga, is because it just so happens to be that more people are able to digest it and watch it, and they're rated very similarly. If you look on IMDb, My Enemy List, they're rated very similar. So that's why I think it deserved to win, because it has popularity is the only form of objectivity we have to go on. And yeah, I don't think it was undeserved, because I also think just in general it was excellent.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, when you were speaking in your in your long-windedness, were you regarding the were you regarding the Anime of the Year award, or what specific category were you speaking?
All of the awards, because it is a popularity contest. People are voting. It is a popularity contest, but I think popularity does deserve an award in merit, because if you yourself reached out and your voice reached out to 3 million people, as opposed to somebody who reached out and resonated with 100,000, it doesn't. The numbers shouldn't matter, but I mean, if you resonated with more people, some way you should be rewarded for that, because it's an incredible accomplishment. And I think that that's fine. But and people saying that they don't like popularity and they think it should be some form of an actual critique with set rules. Here's the problem with that: anime isn't judged by the same rules as like film. It doesn't have a set criteria. That's why they're allowed to have different logic than film. You don't have to explain why Thorfinn can jump and leap across ravines, because we don't. It's anime. The anime doesn't have to adhere to the same logic, and so there's no criteria to objectively judge what is correct.
I feel
what is
like
better.
there was some justification to. I mean, I know that you're just using an analogy, but just looking at that specific
Well, it's
criteria,
just genetics,
yeah, exactly. Like, we know he's the son of Thor's, which is basically where he adopted his whole ideology from.
He's
It's
son of like
ingrained.
trolls or something. So it's like it's not said directly, but it's like it's kind of hinted at. Like we don't know what the son of troll or whatever is yet. We might not ever, but again, like it's kind of hinted at, and then we might figure it out later. But in general, Calvin, I agree with you on a lot of things, but especially on that last one, I disagree. When it comes to the awards. Now, don't get me wrong. I full-fledged believe that JJK should have won all of that. But when looking at the two animes side by side, they're completely different.
They are.
JJK can completely get away with explaining powers as soon as you see them, because it's all about hands. It's all about hands. But when it comes down to it, Vinland Saga actually makes me think a lot more.
Now
that's an interesting point, because
talk about that.
So like Jujutsu Kaisen is actually the power system is based off of being able to, like, the more that you can explain how your unique power, your sorcery works, the stronger it is. So I think it definitely does do its justice in giving us a logic to its system, and it follows its rules. I don't think anyone in the show is actually straight hands other than Itadori, really. In that regard, I feel like everyone else Other than, and also Maki also straight hands too, because she's got the heavenly restriction and whatnot. But yeah, like I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen definitely has a power system that you can follow logically and understand how and why certain things work. Because there's like, for example, binding vows and certain reasons that you can't just like overcast certain pieces of sorcery, or there's a reason that certain people can't cast domains, for example. Like there
Yeah.
are rules to the world. I can't agree that it's like just straight hands, because
That's not what I was saying. I was saying like it was like in the beginning of an episode, they really will explain the powers of a person in that beginning of the episode, and then for the rest of the episode, we seeing a straight fight.
And,
Like there might be some like what do you call like ideal conflicts, but it's not heavily relied on as something like a Vinland Saga is, because Vinland Saga doesn't throw just hands.
Well, let me actually bring up your thinking thing, because that's actually been a big point of contention for me with Vinland Saga fans, because they say like you desire something mindless. You don't have a strong attention span. These have been some of my biggest like irking points, because okay, when you say that you weren't thinking when you're watching Jujutsu Kaisen, you weren't thinking, you weren't as engaged. That's how I felt watching Vinland Saga. I didn't. Yeah, you said you weren't as engaged. Like watch. Were you just as engaged? Oh, okay. Sorry. Then I'm giving you something that you're not saying. But I'm just gonna speak to the people that do say it. So a lot of people point to if you like Jujutsu Kaisen, you kind of like mindless action. You like to turn your brain off, and that's honestly exactly. It's the opposite. If you watch the show, it's like if you're engaging in the puzzle that they're creating, Jujutsu Kaisen presents a difficult puzzle for you to solve. And for people like myself who like to dissect things, who like to puzzle solve as I'm watching something, I like that there's so much logic in the world that I've already figured out my puzzle to and things of that nature, that you need to create some new puzzle for me to solve. And that's why I like Jujutsu Kaisen, because I like seeing the puzzle of how were they going to defeat Gojo, given the system that you created and how you'd explained his powers. How are you gonna save Megumi after he did this? Or just all of the puzzles of the power system I find to be engaging. And somebody is saying in the chat, JJK is an easier puzzle than Vinland Saga. Let's just say that. And yes, it is an easier puzzle, because when you're watching Vinland Saga, you gotta think about it outside of. You have to think about it outside of it. So you're like, especially as somebody older like me, I've like got so many philosophies that I'm just sticking to, that I'm not trying to take in. I'm not gonna take in your philosophy if you try to force it upon me.
Yeah.
So
I think that like the Vinland Saga is like the intellectual agenda is based off something that like flies beyond human comprehension. What I mean by that is that like the ideal that Thorfinn has of peace is almost belligerent, because, and not to get political, but like, could you imagine a Thorfinn archetype individual being in our world today, where there is actual war happening and trying to carry those same ideologies? I see that as an inevitable fail. I think that Thorfinn will not be able to maintain that sense of self in a world that is basically built on the very thing he's trying to run away from.
So
it's like
the puzzle's solved. That's
exactly. That's what I mean. It's like it's not hard to really solve that puzzle. Like, yeah, it's nice to think about the ideal that like, wait, what if he does achieve this form of peace? That's what I think. That's what makes Vinland Saga compelling. That's one of the components that makes Vinland Saga compelling, is like the ideal of seeing someone break that barrier. Like, wait a second, could Thorfinn be the one to break the barrier in an era of Vikings? That's unheard of, but that's what makes it compelling. But in the same sense, logical thinking says no, he's not going to be able to, and at some point he's going to have to snap and go against his own ideologies. So I think it's like their attachment to the agenda that makes them believe that like that we're surface level in our comprehension of the shows, in comparison.
Hey, and just in general, for people in the chat, I like smoke, so I will let, if you guys have contentions with what we say,
Instead of getting too political,
hop in the Discord and
please.
I
say
will
something.
maybe not this stream, but I will talk to you in the next. You can get on this show and talk your piece.
We want your opinions.
We want the
Please.
smoke. Now we're gonna move on to the next topic because it kind of goes hand in hand. That's why I wrote it this way. But we're gonna talk about story versus action because let's talk about it, right? Let's say, let me drop the Discord link one more time. So I'm gonna let you guys take this away after I kind of introduce it. But if something has a great story,
I know this thing's gonna work, but I'll post it.
If something has a great story, and then a show has great action. Let's say according to your barometer of judgment, I don't know if I'm using that word right. I'm just trying to sound smart. If a show has a 9 out of 10 story, does that automatically make it better than a show with like 9 out of 10 action? Right.
What are your examples when you bring that up?
Vinland Saga versus
Jujutsu Kaisen. I wouldn't even use Vinland Saga for story versus action. If we're going to talk about story versus action, we have to look at an anime like Monster. Use Monster like that's almost zero action, a lot of talking, some suspense, slow burn type show, right? And it's also it's rated highly on.
Wait. If we gonna talk about story versus action, we got to do Death Note season 1.
You can make the argument that it's action packed, but go ahead.
Death Note.
Yeah, it's eventful.
I mean, either way,
but it's not action. It's just that straight story. I don't think nobody do a punch. How do you
define action? Because, like I said, there can be events that are impactful that occur, but then there's action we should define action as like physical, like combat or events that are taking place. Like so Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, like those are action. Jujutsu Kaisen is action. Vinland Saga, believe it or not, is action. Although the genre is different. It's seinen, which is not, and Jujutsu Kaisen, JJK is shonen. They're different in that regard, but they're still action.
I think the two concepts complement each other. I don't really, for me as a rabid consumer, I don't think you can have one without the other. I think that like a story constitutes action. Like how the hell can you have a story without some sort of event or action taking place? And to your point, Elijah, an action can have different variables. It can have different definitions, but like regardless of the fact, the two are like they're two sides of the same coin. So like I don't really see there being a contusion there.
But there's levels to action though. Like so that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I brought up Monster, or you can bring up Death Note, because the level of action is nowhere near the same level of action in a typical shonen anime manga. So you can still get that same effect, and it can go hand in hand. But I don't think it's necessary to have action in a story driven show. But I think it's crucial to have a story in an action driven show. Like so. And I think a good example of this is God of High School. That is a Korean manhwa that was based off of the manhwa. And anybody that watched it was like, what is this mess? Because it was freaking like they just bull rushed the entire thing. So it's like a lot of action, but there's no story. And you're like, what the freak is going on here? You don't know what's happening. So story is important for an action. For an action story, there has to be some story, even minute. But on the other hand, for a story-driven show, and that's why I like Death Note, or that's like that. You can have a little bit of action to help, like maybe like spice it up so you don't get too bored, but it's not like a crucial component for that story to be good.
And I actually want to build upon what you said, because you basically said that story is the foundation. Story is the foundation, and without it, you can't even have action that's engaging. And I agree with that. But it's so here's the thing: is like when we watch anime, we have to suspend some of our belief, right? We have to suspend a lot of disbelief to just accept it and be immersed in the show. And I will say that sometimes, look, if you create if you create a world and tell me to buy into it, I'm willing to buy into it as long as you don't like
follow the rules.
As long as you follow the rules. For example, you tell me that Devil Fruit users can't swim, I better not see Luffy swimming, or I'm gonna say my immersion's gone. I'm like, the world doesn't make sense. I'm in the Matrix. It glitched. Now, now, going to a story being the foundation for action, I can accept a tiny little pillar holding up this great mountain of action. Even if the story isn't even if the structure's weird, it doesn't seem like it should support it. As long as you give me some form of logic to explain your weak base, I'm with it. Cause now you've got me to focus on your new base, which is what you were trying to do. You were trying to make me focus on the logical puzzles of your battle system. And I'm not worried about that weak ass fragile base that you got, because fuck it, bro. Let's do it. I get it. But that is something that everybody does, is they suspend their disbelief for something that they want to buy into. And the people that didn't buy into Jujutsu Kaisen didn't want to.
Right.
That's same with Vinland Saga. You either buy into the philosophy or you don't. It is what it is.
And, and the challenge of a lot of, and you gotta realize with Vinland Saga, it's a two conflicting ideologies. Whether you want to believe it or not, the closest counterpart to what Thorfinn is in the world is Jesus of Nazareth.
It is
like, and Christianity is prevalent in Vinland Saga. And then the complete opposite of Christianity, which is the what's it called, Norse ideology, is also prevalent, and it's battling. Those two ideologies are battling, and you see Canute, which had that ideal, the whole ideal of what you should be as a human, be corrupted because of being in a Viking-like world.
Hey,
and so you see what, but anyway, I don't want to get.
I think that's a bit of a stretch to compare Thorfinn to Jesus Christ. Like I said, and I brought this up before in a separate conversation, but the best way to rationalize Thorfinn in real life is, in my opinion, MLK. You know, that's just how I rationalize.
You just want to say he black, bro. You just want to give him the N word.
Yeah, bro. I'm not. I don't want
MLK treatment.
I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Thorfinn is Jesus Christ. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the closest real world thing to what Thorfinn is. In the path that he's trying to go to, being completely non-violent and turning the other cheek, is Jesus.
And you want
to? I agree to that because I understand what the guy is saying, because like anime philosophies in themselves can become religion for some people. You know, like based on what you are personally experiencing, it can definitely touch you in a way where you feel like following that philosophy has definitely changed your life in some way, some or fashion. And that's where I think the Vinland Saga individuals heavily empathize with the show. They believe that Thorfinn's ideology is something that they can hold on to. It's a hope, even if it's logically a false sense of hope. It's hope, and that's pretty much what it is having faith in something that is going to help you. You know, that you can take with you into your own life and apply it. In other words, but like
I don't apply it to like the religious aspect though, because like I mean that's a whole conversation in itself outside of anime, honestly. But like
it
when
is
you're
that
looking
deep,
at
George.
like any religion or Christianity or whatnot, you're bringing up these these people. It's more than just pacifism. It's more than just like turning the other cheek. Like that's not what that's not the complete story of like the individual, but you could say that's the complete, story of, Thorfinn. Like I said, Thorfinn is an extreme version of pacifism. But if you look at like these religious, individuals, it's not even really pacifism that they're preaching. Like, yeah, it might say turn the other cheek and whatnot, but they also say protect your house and home as well, type beat. So
That's true.
it's not really 1-to-1. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio. So that's why I try to
He
use
just
a
said
more
the closest.
that's why I try to use a more at home, something that people can more relate to was MLK, just because, or just like the Black community in general, is because of the peaceful protests against violence and
slavery.
choosing not to feed into that violence, not to go back, with it, because we see, and Thorfinn sees it is like, hey, when we feed into the violence, all it does is breed more violence. Hey, we know that if we fight against like the Caucasian population for what we're trying to achieve, it's only going to cause more harm to our Black community type beat, so we have to go about it a different way. And for Thorfinn, he realized like, okay, well, this right here is not working, so we're gonna go to a new land. I'm gonna found my own home, my own ideology, and what you could say, Zay, is like, he's more akin to Moses because he's taking his people to a new land and he's operating on new beliefs in this new land. That's more real. That's more 1-to-1, I would say, than with
Well,
Jesus.
I want to say this. I want to cut you off because I want to move to the next topic. But
Yeah, go ahead.
I do like that. Like the main point is that there's a lot of religious comparisons you can make, and I just want to make one comparison that I think is fun. But like the reason I wanted Canute to have more screen time is because he reminds me of Aaron. Now, just think about it for a second. They constantly show you a path of dead bodies whenever they show Canute. And this is the result of trying to bend the world to your will. It's the same thing with Aaron. He also had paths. He had paths that he had to follow as well. And when you truly go down the path of logic to get what you want, just like Canute, you're gonna leave a trail of bodies. You're gonna leave a trail of bodies in your wake, depending on what your goal is. And if it's to end war, you can end war through not participating in war and not having the war within yourself, or you can end war by completely dominating. Now, moving on to the next topic. The last thing we're going to talk about is a light topic because we did get very political. And I didn't mean for it to get political, that religious and all those things, but we just.
I just wanted to put
it's a debate.
two of the things together.
All qualms are off.
It's fine, but
all qualms are off.
We're gonna go to the next topic, which is. It's the final topic. If we feel like we want to talk more, then we can. But we just want to talk about your favorite anime from this season. And this is too hard to pick. It's too hard for me to pick between.
Can I go first?
I want to go first.
Go ahead, go first.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Because you're gonna say the same thing as me. That's why I want to say it before you.
I know that's why you want to say. That's why I want to say it first. But Frieren is a goat, man. Frieren is the fucking goat. Oh my fucking god, bro. I can't believe that this Madhouse Animation Studios, they are peaking, dog. I gotta say, man, I gotta give it up to them, bro, because they also animated Bungo Stray Dogs. If you're at all familiar with that anime, and like I believe that won a category, not in Crunchyroll, but and another I think host, they won Anime of the Year for their season 5, and I'm like, damn, I didn't know anybody even knew about Bungo Stray Dogs, but like, yeah, Madhouse and the way they're like orchestrating Frieren, I'm absolutely like bewildered by it. I love it.
Now let me go next. So I agree, but for me it's tied between Solo Leveling and Frieren. Only for two reasons, because they do different things and they do them both excellent. Now, for people that underrate Solo Leveling, let me spit a little bit of knowledge about why you are underrating, in my opinion, Solo Leveling, because you have to understand Jin Woo's journey. Now let's look at the first episode, right? When what was his opponent? His opponent was a god of logic. So the only way to defeat that god was with logic. Other people tried to defeat it with brute force, and it was impossible. And they tried to leave. They tried to disobey the logic of the puzzle that he set, his trap. And so Solo Leveling, Jinwoo is a character that he obeyed the logic of that god, and because he obeyed the logic of that god and what he wanted, that god and it put himself inside of Jinwoo to carry out his justice. And
You're right.
so as you watch Solo Leveling, you look at the character Jinwoo, you're like, this guy is not realistic. He's robotic and all this. The way his mind thinks is how my mind thinks. He is becoming a killing machine. They say that, and that's what it's about, is because it's also just like it also deals with some of the same topics as Vinland Saga, because it's talking about the dangers of making logic your god, and logic is Jinwoo's god, and it's leading him down a very dark path, and that's what it's about. And I think that's why it's underrated, because I think that's an awesome thing to explore.
It is. I agree.
Can
I want to also.
Go ahead.
I was going to correct my mistake. Bungo Stray Dogs is not animated by Madhouse. It's animated by Bones. But like, still,
that's fine.
I actually just wanted to bring it up. But yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Elijah.
All right. So first of all, I'm not disagreeing really with anything you're saying, but I honestly do not see where you're coming from when you're saying like Solo Leveling is underrated. Like,
I think
it's not underrated. A lot. Like, people love Solo Leveling. Like, people read the manga. Like you know, so it's a very popular manhwa. So it's not underrated in any regard. Now, like I said, there's other anime in the season that, you know, have already started and been ongoing, like Frieren and whatnot. What else? So, you know, it might be taking away from some of the exposure of Solo Leveling, but by no means is Solo Leveling currently, you know, undervalued or, you know, being underestimated. So
there are people who do undervalue it, but like, yeah, I agree with you. Like,
undervalue everything, you know.
Yeah.
But don't use the minority to make that statement, you know, because like I said, you know, it's not hearsay, but if you go on Twitter, you're gonna find people, you know, throwing
oh my God. Is there a problem with the stream, or is it still fine?
No, it's cool.
It's still fine. Okay. My sorry, I have some issues with my computer. But the only reason I say it's underrated is just because of, you know, my anime list. It's rated kind of low, and I'm not that. I mean, if you, I mean, there's the only form of objectivity is the ratings I find.
But you have to look at it like this as well. I mean, Calvin, like you kind of said it earlier, you know, yourself, is like when you look at, you know, a rating and it only has like 2,000 people rating it or something along those lines, you know, you have to kind of look at it like with some skepticism, like, you know, is that a real representation, you know, of the full opinion of how good that show is? Because like I said,
but wait, just you're harping on underrated too much. You're playing. It's kind of semantics, because you're kind of trying to dismiss the word underrated entirely. It's just a fun thing. It is underrated on my enemy list. I think it should be rated higher on my enemy list. Is all I'm saying.
That's fine. Yeah. That's a fine statement to make. I was just saying.
So I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying in terms of because I'm trying to have fun. Don't take away the word underrated from me. Goddamn. Don't logic that away from me.
That's not underrated. Don't use the minority. Don't do it. I understand.
Well, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain.
Enough video.
Is there a problem with the stream for you guys, by the way? Or is it good?
I got it paused because I don't want double voices, but let me check it out real quick.
Yeah, let me see real quick.
Just making sure.
Nah, it's fine. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
but so yeah, go ahead with your favorite anime. Just say your favorite anime. Don't critique somebody else's favorite anime. This is the end of the debate. Let me have what I want.
You know, I'm gonna be different. You know, just to be different.
Oh, God.
You know, I won't say I have a favorite anime. Like, yeah, there's a lot I'm looking forward to, and a lot I'm like watching. But you know, as far I'll say this, what I'm like really liking right now, and what I'm looking forward to, like, you know, watching more of, is Ninja Kamui. And I say that because when I watched the first episode, it's very, very similar to at least the first episode was very similar to John Wick. And just like the premise, you know, it's like, you know, you kill my dog and now I gotta, you know, F you guys up type beat. You know, it's kind of similar in that way. So it's like now you're just kind of like following this guy's journey. It's like, okay, what's going to happen here? You know, like how is he going to get his his revenge? You know, and you get to explore like his abilities. You see a little bit of what he does, and also it's like modern day ninjas as well. So it's like it's kind of better than Naruto because it's like it's gory. They don't hide anything, and there's like ninja techniques and stuff. So it's kind of cool actually. So I would say right now, as far as like a anime that's really good and I'm looking forward to it is definitely Ninja Kamui.
Nice.
That's cool.
I like that. So yeah, those were the topics we wanted to talk about. You know, I wanted to have it be like a really light stream. You know, was that light? I mean, I feel like we did talk about some heavy topics.
It was light. Like there was some politics that people didn't agree with, but that's just politics in a nutshell. But like I think it was light because we could like you guys. I want to see these guys get on. Like I want it to be like less light. I want the chaos.
Some chaos.
I want the chaos. You know what I mean? Because like what like Elijah just said, like thinking that it's like better than Naruto, which I understand why he's saying that. That's a crazy take, though.
We'll have more. We'll have more inflammatory, just for the fun podcast. But a lot of people were, having comments like, "Is this gonna be like every other podcast and be just people screaming at each other?" And I'm like, "No, give it a chance." We like.
I don't think we were screaming at each other.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. No.
Yeah, we and we aren't an echo chamber as well. This is how a conversation should be. We're disagreeing with each other, but at the same time, we're expecting of each other's opinion, and that's rare.
We can be mature, an adult.
Yeah, that's rare.
Own ass man.
So I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming out. I want you guys to all join the Discord and tell us what you guys want us to talk about, and if you guys want to join in the conversation, join that Discord. That's your best way to tell us everything you think about it, what you think we should talk about next, what we should add to the stream, and it's gonna help us be better in general.
Looking forward to it.
It's the stream. The show isn't like where I want it to be production wise right now and structurally, but I'm still working on it, and I didn't want to keep waiting to get it perfect until I started. I wanted to just start and just get it out the way. But the show will keep improving with each week.
As it should.
If you guys want to say your lasting remarks, we will sign off. And I think that was a good episode. Like we had some good talks.
That was nice. It was good. I'll say one thing that anime that didn't get brought up yet. Shangri-La Frontier is one to look out for. I really love Shangri-La Frontier right now. I'm not sure if there's like any isekai folks out there, but like if you like isekai, I think Shangri-La Frontier is definitely like a go-to right now. Just in my honest opinion. But yeah. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. And the great.
Oh, me? No, nothing. I don't really got nothing to say anime wise, but follow me on my social medias.
Don't follow. Don't do that. Don't.
Hey, but come on now, bro. You've been disrespecting me this whole.
No self promotion. All right.
Hey, you about to start making this look like an actual podcast.
We got time for that. Trust me.
You gotta pay for that.
Yeah,
you still gotta pay for that. But
we'll make a very inflammatory topic for the third one because the next we have to tribute Dragon Ball Z. So
Dragon Ball Z, yeah.
Yes, rest in peace to Akira Toriyama, man. All respects to him and his family, dog.
Absolutely.
And then Elijah, you got any last remarks you want to make?
Just thanks for having me, on the podcast for the inaugural, first podcast. You might have thought it was a hot mess, but I think it was pretty good, in my opinion.
Oh, somebody said let's talk about communism and Buddhism for the next episodes. I think that's great.
That's actually pretty wild.
Why not? Why
I mean,
not?
But like, yeah.
No.
I don't want to be a part of this podcast. That's what I'm talking.
I mean, there are anime.
No, stop.
Portray.
I'm gonna mute you. Stop.
Hey.
All right. So. All right, so with that being said, guys, we are going to end the stream. Make sure to join the Discord. You want to be a part of it and offer your suggestions. And if you want to be a part of it, let's do it. But that being said, we are signing off. That is the first episode of Anime X Debates. It will get better every stream. you know, I'm constantly a person. I have to prove myself. We got to prove this stream, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna prove that this is worth something.
Bringing the heat, bring the smoke.
You know? All right, we are signing off. Hold on, we gotta end the stream. Fucking summon the logic and intelligence to do that.